All right, next delivery will be at 6:52 arrival, 2 minutes, 0.7 miles. All right, next delivery is 7:01 arrival, 5 minutes, 2.1 miles. Well, I turned on New Order Substance, 1987. It's actually a pretty good album. Substance. It has substance. New Order. They started off, one of the members of the band started off in Joy Division, and then they lost Ian, and then they constructed a new band known as New Order. And did pretty good, especially in the club scene, 1990s. 1987 Substance. It's about the truck getting in front of the shot that matters. It's about the humanity of it, not about the actual end result process. End result. It's about the process. Sorry, it's about the process of it more so than anything else. The process. It's about the process. All right, next delivery 7:56, 4 minutes, 1.9 miles. All right, that Substance, New Order, 1987 was actually written by Ian Curtis, who was an epileptic and died. I don't really use the word suicide. I think it's the illness that kills him. My dad feels the same too, but he died, I guess you could say, of mental illness. They have these things that dry your clothing in England that are on this like spring device, and it lifts up very quickly and can hold hundreds of pounds of wet clothing. There's the Trinity. Well, that's what he used. Tied a rope to that. Well, that's what the movie, at least. They made a movie called Control. I need to go back and find the director to that. It's on my honorable mentions of greatest movies of all time. It's black and white. Before I get all the names wrong, I want to say that there's a name in it named Samuel Remy or something like that. I gotta look it up. Anyway, check it out. Substance, 1987. I'm playing Ceremony now. I think Ceremony he wrote too, and the New Order did a version of it. Sorry about that, I got mixed up. It's Sam Riley that plays Ian Curtis in Control, 2007 film. So Control is a 2007 film with Sam Riley. Sam Riley, it's a brilliant method performance of Ian Curtis, black and white, deadly film, great film, black and white. If I was like in the little, which is my dream one day, Criterion Collection booth, and I would find Control, I'd have to remember Anton Corbin's name, and I'll probably mispronounce it because I'm saying it's Corbi, I think NG or something. He did A Most Wanted Man with Philip Seymour Hoffman. But Control is brilliant. It's a brilliant film. Very controlled as a way to explain the film. And the cinematography is very just slow, and the shots take a long time, and the acting is just hyper real. And it shows the life of Ian Curtis when he was among Joy Division. And right before he went on tour, he committed adultery with a model, like a reporter or a model or something like that. And he was also epileptic, and I think he may have been taking medicine for it. The rumor is that he was listening to Ziggy Pop's Idiot. It's a record. He had left that on. Then he went into the kitchen, tied a rope around his neck, and hooked it to that little thing that springs up in mental illness got him. It's very, very good. It's an important film. But he was epileptic. He was he had some problems. That's like a psychophysical involvement and a problem but he was a great singer. All right, next delivery is 8:14, 11 minutes, 3.7 miles. All right, so Anton Corbijn, it's spelled Corbijn, born in 1955. He's from the Netherlands. So why he chose Control, I don't know, or why he chose to do a piece on Joy Division, I don't know. He was probably a musical fan of it, like he liked their music. But a strong film. So he must have passionately liked the band and did a great job. And where that came out of left field, that film did. And when I saw it, I was amazed. It was another film that you see and you're like, wow, being a filmmaker is great, you know? It's hard to explain. It's a quiet film. The acting is very subtle. There's nothing really showy about it other than, of course, you know, Ian Curtis, he was a very dark, kind of somber writer, you know. I guess he falls into the category of goth. But he, oh, look at this right here. Person playing the violin. Yeah, so he's kind of sad, and it was goth, and he had this deep voice, and he had a presence on stage, and he danced around. They called it kind of almost like an epileptic fit dance. They made kind of fun of it a little bit. Some people did, and they you know, they had weird people that would show up at the shows. Sometimes people full of hatred and stuff, and it was tough for that band because they were in an alternative market. They were starting what is known as the alternative music scene, coming right out of the UK. And he was a fan of David Bowie, and he was up there just doing this original dance thing, almost like David Byrne or something. You know, it was very eccentric kind of dance. And the music worked, and they slowly lifted off and became a very powerful band. And very quickly, it happened very quickly, over just a few years. And then next thing you know, they're called out to America to tour. He never made it to America. He took his life before he left, so it was very sad. So they made the movie in honoring that whole band and that scene. And I think it's an important movie of our generation. Not a lot of people talk about it. I don't hear a lot of people say, hey, have you seen that movie Control? But it's great. I'm not the biggest critic, but that one was a home run for me. It's a film I'm probably going to end up buying, you know, eventually, just because the music and everything. It is kind of sad though. There's a sad ending, but anyway, it goes into my family. The suicide. It happened to an uncle that I never met, and so that may be the reason why it's an important film, because it's a touchy subject. Anyway, it is sad, so I just wanted to be a warning on that for people that, you know, like, you recommended that movie to me and it made me sad. Well, listen, have you ever listened to a Joy Division song? Don't blame me. Come on, guy, go back to New York. Don't blame me, man. No, I'm just joking. You can say, just don't honk at me. We're just gonna have to do this. Turn around right here. Grayskins. I make up these weird names like Grayskins. It's not even like a real name. Like on a slanted hill right here. Okay. Most Wanted Man was pretty good too. It's Philip Seymour Hoffman. It was about espionage. It was pretty good. Not as good as Control, but it was pretty good. A note on Joy Division. They formed in Salford, England. This is 1976. So that's pretty old, you know. They're way older than the New Order. But New Order came after Joy Division. So it was kind of a result. You know, it was them recouping. Kind of like Nirvana and Foo Fighters. It was the same thing. It was Joy Division, then New Order. Well, I threw on New Order's Blue Monday again. Glad I'm remembering that title. It's a fun song. I like that. You know how they get into that, you know, that kind of stuff. That was like when you clicked your heels on the dance floor at the exact same time and then spun around a little bit. it was a very technical form of disco. You know, it was very angular, and the movements were very, not too jerky. Yeah, they were kind of jerky and angular, and the movements were clicking of the heels, bobbing of the head, you know, because the drugs did things to you. That was back in the 90s. It was a really, really weird time. Very strange time. But New Order was like the, you know, that was the club scene. Yeah, I can drive 55, rebel without a cause, Nicholas Ray. I picture James Dean fighting with a Stingray in the car trying to drive 55. That's how you can remember Nicholas Ray for Rebel Without a Cause. I can't drive 55, rebel without a cause, Nicholas Ray. I don't know. There's weird, like some of those things will stay with me and I'll remember, you know, Nicholas Ray, 1955. I always think Elia Kazan, but it's not, you know. It's Nicholas Ray, 1955, Rebel Without a Cause, James Dean. And Natalie Wood, right? So what does Stephen Morris do? Okay, Stephen Morris plays the drums, okay. Bernard Sumner, think of Bernard, St. Bernard. He's the vocalist, also the guitarist. Bernard Sumner, got it, guitarist. Peter Hook, right, Peter Pan, Peter Hook. He's the guy with the bass. Okay, he's got the hook, Peter Hook, got it. Peter Hook, Peter Pan, got it. Gonna come across the butterfly in a minute. Then we've got, well, Jillian's in there too. I gotta make sure I get her last name correct. But she was the one on the keyboards, I think on the Blue Monday video. And we'll get the last name before I mess up this take. But I know her name has Jillian in it. And then there's Stephen Morris, and he's the drummer. Dun 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 dun. So Bernard Sumner had to take over kind of the position of Ian Curtis because Joy Division broke up and they started, you know, New Order. Roughly, I don't know, jump in there 1980s, ballpark figure somewhere in there. So we know that Bernard Sumner's behind it. And we know that the second person, Peter Hook, he's the bassist. Then we've got, the other guy. I don't want to mess with him. All right, Jillian Gilbert is her name. That's New Order. I know one time she played the keyboards. So Bernard Sumner, guitarist, vocalist, New Order. Then you've got Peter Hook, he's the bassist. Stephen Morris, just like Morris the cat. And they all have connections. Got Peter Hook, Peter Pan, Captain Hook. Got it, bassist. Bernard Sumner, St. Bernard. He's got a Bernard, then Peter Hook. He's wearing like a hook on his hand. He's got, you know, Peter Pan. And then we've got Stephen Morris, Morris the cat. And then Jillian Gilbert. I got a friend named Gilbert, but he's a guy. Lives in Los Angeles. He's also an actor and filmmaker named James Gilbert. So we'll try to remember that band, New Order, because they're one of my favorites. And then also you got to remember Phil Cunningham. All right, next delivery is 9:01, 1 minute, 0.5 miles. All right, I put on Temptation, and that's the one that goes, excuse me, I'm getting over a slight cold. are the five, or no, are they four horses? Sorry, 4 horses. Like the 4 horses of the apocalypse. Everything's symbolic. Ooh, 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 ooh. Anyway, that's how Temptation kind of goes. There. Looks like they're plugged in right there for the night. They just charge the car. Pretty cool. Let's see if this classical music goes with Temptation. We ordered. Oh, it kind of did. You know, if we did Deep on Elm and it got a lot of attention, I'd be okay with just releasing it at the movie theater only. I'd just be happy to do it, really, to be honest. It's kind of like revisiting your youth, is really what that kind of stuff is. You know, like going back in time. That must be what they did, you know, Nicholas Ray and Rebel Without a Cause and stuff, maybe. Even though he was way older than the actual movie. He was more like the John Hughes of that time. All right, next delivery is 9:58, arrival time 6 minutes, 2.8 miles. Isn't bread fun? La 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 la. And like, don't like come up to me and say, "Hey Cole, that's not how it goes." I'm trying, okay? It's close enough. It'll work. La 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 la. That's what I'll just tell you. Like, hey, well, I'm trying to make it work. Like the school bus parking like this, you know? Yeah, I dig it. It's fine. La 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 la. Bluebird. See, it's farmhouse sourdough. Good stuff. Next delivery is arrival 2:31, 6 minutes, 2.7 miles.